Shalom, Ahab, Wa, Baraka. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakak, Wadash, and double honors to the elder apostles, the prophets, and the teachers at GMS that have been bringing out this 100% truth for the last 30 plus years. Salutations to the sincere Akiyawa Akwa. Let's get right into it. Ohio coaches fired for giving player pork against his religious beliefs. This is Hebrew Israelite fame, Virgin Island Straight Gates. Virgin Island Straight Gates. Okay? And this post is from, I can't really tell, it's kind of blurred out, but it's a news post. So let's get it.
Former head coach Marcus Watley and 6 of his assistants were relieved of all coaching duties at a special called school board meeting.
He allegedly made a Hebrew Israelite athlete eat pepperoni pizza for missing a practice May 20.
All right. You heard it with your own mouth. With your own mouth. You heard it with your own ears. The kid missed the practice. There's the glass. Been searching for these for so long. The kid missed practice, and so they knew that he was a Hebrew Israelite. Somehow they figured that out, right? And so they forced him to eat pork as a punishment. Well, let's get into it. Got a new book. My kids know I like to write notes, and so my wife and my kids bought me this new book to write my notes in. I thought I would share it with you. Look at this thing. It's beautiful. It's got a little lock on it. You pop it open, and all the pages are actually handmade. So this is the first class I'm doing in it, but it's really cool. It's real old-fashioned, real appreciated. The Wadwa Barakataya, how about Shimi, how Shah, Waha, Rakak, Wadash. Just love the pages and the way it's put together. It's just beautiful. All right, but let's get it. So my kids got me I'm going to turn on the air, too. It's pretty hot in here. I didn't want to interrupt the video, though, with the air on. It makes noise. All right. So let's get it. So the kid was forced to eat pork. First things first. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, also known as the book of Sirach, chapter 31. And verse 21. So chapter 31 and 21. And it come on. What in the hell? I knew right away, dude. This thing will do this to me every time. I'll put in the new chapter and verse, but it won't change screens on me. But I'm starting to catch on to this stupid computer trying to always foul me up. So the kid was forced to eat pork because he missed a practice. Well, I'm assuming this is football, or either football or basketball. But I thought it was football. I can't. I honestly don't know. Football, basketball, baseball. I know one thing. It was sports. So, if thou hast been, this is Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 31 and 21, and it reads, if thou hast been forced to eat, arise, go forth, vomit, and thou shalt have rest. So, simple. He made you eat pepperoni pizza, go puke it up. And then you'll be fine. Also, let's move around some more, because I want to prove that what that's talking about right there in ancient times, when you're being forced to eat, it usually meant that they were forcing you to eat the swine, because that's what they used in their sacrifices, was swine's flesh. So let's get that also. Let's go to 2 Maccabees chapter 6. Oh man, let's get it. I want to get it in the NLT. Second Maccabees chapter 6, New Living Translation. Look at that. Nope. See what I'm saying? If I ask for a specific translation, the New Jerusalem, the USCCB, Bible, Bible Hub. Now it's just giving me chapters with King James. I asked for the NLT, right? New Living Translation. It doesn't have it. All of a sudden, that's the one it doesn't have. The NRSVUE, the GNT. But I asked for the NLT. Why can't I get it? There it is. Wow. All the way down and 2 pages deep. And you're telling me that they're not trying to stop this word from coming out. That's 2 Kings, man. Come on. Maybe they don't have it in the GNT. 2 Maccabees, chapter 6, GNT. Well, fine. We'll just go with the Good News Translation. It won't give me any other translations. But this is all right. It's beautiful in the Good News Translation. Let's start at verse 6. So like I said, I told you that if you're forced to eat, go vomit. Now I want to prove that 90% of the time they were forcing you to eat swine's flesh or other things. But so when you have like pepperoni or sausages, it's usually the intestines and they grind it up. And the way they make sausage is that intestine lining is the casing. So what makes the sausage its shape is the casing, which is the intestine lining of the animals. Mainly, they would use pork for that. So, let's read it. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 6, starting at verse 6, Good News Translation. It was impossible to observe the Sabbaths, to celebrate any of the traditional festivals, or even so much as to admit to being a Jew. Each month, when the king's birthday was celebrated, so this king, he celebrated his birthday every month. Now, as an Israelite, we've been telling you we don't celebrate birthdays. This is one of the reasons why. There's no righteous man in the Bible that ever celebrated his birthday. But all the unrighteous men did. They loved to celebrate and worship themselves. Okay, each month when the king's birthday was celebrated, the Jews were compelled by brute force to eat the intestines of sacrificial animals. Then, during the festival, in honor of the wine god, Dionysus, something like that. I almost said it right. Dionysus, I don't know. Dionysus or something like that, or somebody can correct it in their own mind when they hear it, if they hear it. But anyway, in the festival in honor of the wine god Dionysus, that's it, Dionysus. So during the festival in honor of the wine god Dionysus, they were required to wear ivory wreaths on their heads and march in procession. So they were required to literally put on a parade for the people. Now let's read verse 8. On the advice of Ptolemy, the neighboring Greek cities were also instructed to require Jews to eat the sacrifices. So, just showing you that that intestine and the sausage and the pork, all that's been going on since way back in the day. So what are they doing now? They're doing the same thing to the kid at the football game. But, we're going to have to get into that because, personally, I want to show you something real quick. This is what made me want to do this class. I really wanted to build off of what my brother was saying over at the Virgin Islands. So I want to build on that, and we're going to do it by going to the book of Deuteronomy. We're going to start there. because I got to show you guys something real quick. We gotta get this. Deuteronomy chapter 29 and verse 26. Watch this. It's beautiful. For they went and served. You know what? Let's start at we're going to start at 25. Then men shall say, because they have forsaken the covenant of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, the God of their fathers, which he made with them when he brought them out of the land of Egypt. So we broke that covenant. For they went and served other gods and worshipped them, gods whom they knew not, and whom he had not given unto them. Well, what does that have to do with football and eating pepperoni? Well, I rode skateboards. I was a pro skateboarder. And I realized one day, you know what, how do they put it? I had to put my heart and my soul into it to be a good skater. So I had to give up other things in my life so I could dedicate my life to skateboarding. Then one day I opened the Bible and realized I am worshiping a false god. And I'll prove that later on that that is a false god. It's a form of false god worship. And you know what it does when you start doing those things? Let me read it. Verse 27. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against this land to bring upon it all the curses that are written in this book. So when you're playing football or baseball or basketball or you're skateboarding, when you're a kid, you're aspiring in your mind to be a professional one day. So that means that you're willing to give your heart and your soul to be a pro. That's why these verses have to come out, because this is getting into worshiping false gods. Why do you think the Most High let them force him to eat pork? Oh, just because? No. It's a warning. He got warned. He got a little warning too, just a little tiny one. So let's jump around some more. Let's go to the book of Judges. Let's go to the Judges. Book of Judges, chapter 2. I got to hurry up too, man. I got to really run through this because I got to go out to I got to hit the highways and the hedges as soon as I'm done here. So let's start at verse 8. And Joshua the son of Nun, the servant of Yahweh, died being 110 years old. And they buried him in the border of his inheritance in Timnatheres, in the mountain of Ephraim, on the north side of the hill of Gaish. And also, all that generation were gathered unto their father. So everybody from the generation of Joshua is now deceased. They're gone. They're no more. And there arose another generation after them. So now the next generation's up, which knew not Yahweh. So they didn't know anything about Yahweh, nor yet the works which he had done for Israel. So these people didn't know anything. They didn't know about Yahweh. They didn't know about his works. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Balaam. So what did they do? They started serving false gods. As soon as Joshua, the righteous one, was out of the picture and all the righteous men that were with him, they went right back to worshiping false gods like they did in the Exodus. Verse 11. And the children of Israel did evil in the sight of the Lord and served Balaam. And 12. And they forsook Yahweh, the God of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods of the people that were round about them. Now, where do you get these sports? You get them from your heathen neighbors, and they worship the sports like a god. You have people separated by teams with shirts and hats, of course. And you go out to a sporting event, and you put that game on the TV, and then you put those two different teams in front of each other, you might possibly have a fight. So that's what they mean. They're separating. And it's beautiful. Look, because I'm going to keep going and show you how deep it goes. How deep does that separation go? So all of this, this all has to do with sports too. And don't think it doesn't. It all has to do with sports too, just like every other aspect of life. And they forsook the Lord Yahweh of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods and the gods of the people that were round about them, and bowed themselves unto them, and provoked Yahweh to anger. What's the first thing? When I was a kid, I'm 50 now, but when I was a kid, I played Little League Baseball. It was fun. We just had, my parents actually forced me to play. I don't even know if, I didn't even have any preference, really. I didn't think about sports like that. I was like, oh, yeah, sure, I'll play baseball. But the thing is, before every game, we would take our hats off and put it over our heart, and first thing we'd do was sing the national anthem. And then after the national anthem was over, we would all give allegiance. We would pledge our allegiance to the flag. And don't they still do that in every sporting event to this day? Bring out the Star Spangled Banner, which is a song that glorifies the slaves being killed so they can move forward and have a better life. Anyway, that's another story for a different day, but you are giving your allegiance to these false gods. So don't think that I'm just playing sports. No, you're not. You're doing some deadly, evil wickedness, and you don't realize it because, and we'll get into that too. Let's just keep moving forward. So, let me read verse 13. They forsook Yahweh, and they served Balaam and Ashtaroth. And they're doing that to this day. Balaam is Christmas, Ashtaroth is Easter. It's that simple. Balaam is your virgin birth. Ashtaroth is your goddess of fertility. They all go back to Babylon. That's why this place is called Secret Babylon, because you're worshiping the gods of Babylon. And under those gods, yes, you're going to get all the other things to distract the Israelites from following the instructions. So let's jump around some more. Let's go back over into the book of 2 Maccabees. And let's go to chapter 4. And we're going to start at verse 7. This is very important because now we're going to get into it. Like I said, this all goes into being like the heathens. The whole point of sports is entertaining the heathens and trying to take you away from your own culture and nationality to be like them. Now let's prove it. This is 2 Maccabees chapter 4 starting at verse 7. But after the death of Seleucus, when Antiochus, called Epiphanes, took the kingdom, Jason, the brother of Onias, labored underhand to be high priest. So, deceptively, sneakily. So when he says underhand, he means that he was deceiving. He was a liar. He lied his way into priesthood. So right away, Jason ain't no good. Promising unto the king by intercession 303 score talents of silver, and after revenue 80 talents. And in another revenue, so he's going to give him 303 score talents of silver, and with another revenue, he was going to give him another 80 talents, but he didn't say what the revenue was. So it could have been anything. Besides this, he promised to assign 150 more if he might have license. So you got to get permission. If you were free, you wouldn't have to get a license to do something. A license to set him up a place for exercise. And for the training up, listen carefully right here. What are we going to do? We're going to train for the training up of youth in the fashions of the heathen, and to write them of Jerusalem by the name of Antiochians. So listen to it again. What are they trying to do? They're trying to train the kids in the heathen fashion, so the heathen lifestyle. So if you're out playing sports, guess what? They're training you up into a heathen lifestyle. You can't be a pro athlete and be a prophet in Israel. You got to pick one or the other, and that's on everything. In fact, that's about to come up next. Let me keep reading. So, verse 10, which when the king had granted, and he had gotten into his hand the rule, he forthwith brought his own nation to Greekish fashion. So this dude pretty much single-handedly took the whole nation of Israel and started making them act like Greeks. This day, what are we? We act like Americans. And every country now is trying to act like an American. So back then, we were acting like the Greeks. Nothing new under the sun, really. There's just nothing new under the sun. So, let's keep going. And the royal privileges granted of special favor to the Jews by the means of John and the father of Eponymus who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid, he took away and putting down, listen to this, he removed something, he took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He's taking away the truth, like they're doing right now, and he brought up new customs against the law. New customs against the law. So, let me go back to this Greekish fashion. Let's take LeBron James, for example. Now, LeBron James is a great basketball player, and he's doing all these things. So they give him the $150 million. And then they tell him, if you want to keep that money, you got to wear a dress. You know, LeBron James doesn't want to lose all of his money. So he puts on a dress. So, so let me read this again. Who went ambassador to Rome for amity and aid, he took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. Isn't it our law that a man should not adorn himself in that which a woman wears, and a woman should not adorn herself in a man's garment? So, think about that. Think about that. Are they doing that to this day? There is nothing new under the sun. And you want to play sports? Are you sure? Even as a kid, I've been teaching my kids, are you guys sure? I mean, we could go out and have some fun and play, but once you put your heart and your soul, you completely put your mind and body and soul into it, you're no longer worshiping the Most High. You're seeing how good you can get at this new sport. So you're at the cusp of false god worship. So it's very, very tricky situation. They took away and putting down the governments which were according to the law. He brought up new customs against the law. Like, you have to show your allegiance by wearing a dress. You have to, it seems like every super famous person has at least one child that is affiliated with the Rainbow Mafia. So you got to ask yourself all these questions. Do I really want to play sports after seeing all this? So let me keep going. Verse 12. For he built gladly, he was happy to build a place of exercise under the tower itself. I had to tell my kids, you know what that tower is? No, what's the tower, Dad? It's the temple. So he put that thing right at the temple where we're supposed to worship Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And brought the chief young men under his subjection and made them wear hats. Alazar, deacon, all of Sakari. There's a lot of righteous and sincere people in Sakari, but Alazar and the deacon, they know they're not supposed to be wearing hats when they're teaching. They know it. And it's part of the Greek and heathen fashion. So what does the word heathen mean? Not Israel. That's not an Israelite culture. That's not an Israelite fashion. That's heathen. We don't dress like that. We just don't do those things. But now, such was the height of Greek fashions and the increase of heathenish mannerisms. So what are they doing? They're slowly taking you away from your Israelite culture and turning you into a Greek. And that way they can keep you from following the laws and they can have that full control over you. You don't understand. These people want you dead. So, now, such was the height of Greek fashions and increase of heathenish manners through the exceeding profaneness of Jason, that ungodly wretch, and no high priest. He paid his way in. He fucked up the whole system. And then he literally put the gymnasium right underneath the temple, so all of the priests wouldn't even. And you know what? Let me read 14. That the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers and partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise after the game of discus called them forth. So just like Super Bowl Sunday, people trying to get up out of church, don't miss the first day, man. We got Super Bowl Sunday going on. You know we ain't gonna be there. Well, back in these days, they were playing discus, seeing who could throw the disc the farthest. And Jason set it up to where he had everybody under a temptation to be out there with them. So let's move forward now. Now that we know Jason did that, let's go ahead and let's go to the Book of Psalms real quick. Book of Psalms. Psalms. Chapter 130. Psalm chapter 137. And Psalms chapter 137 and 3. This is another thing. You guys are all being called together. You're being turned into Greeks, or in these days, you will be turned into worldliness. That's what that's really talking about. That's taking you out of righteousness and making you part of the world. And I told you earlier that these people want you dead. So the ultimate goal is to turn you into captives so you can be slaves underneath them. And when you go into Psalms 137 and 3, it's going to tell you, like, we're only here for entertainment, boys and girls. So when you're playing sports and you're singing songs and all that, you're just there to entertain your enemy. Let's prove it. Psalms 137 and 3, For there they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us mirth, saying, Sing us one of the songs of Zion. The songs of Zion was songs where we were defeating our enemies. So they were kind of throwing a dig on us, like, yo, sing us one of those songs now, pretty much. You know, the ones where you were beating us up. But listen carefully. They required of us mirth. The word mirth means entertainment. So when you're going out playing sports, you're just an entertainer. That's why I had to tell my kids, they're just entertainers. You get a script. If sports were real, why do you get a script? And then you read your script and it says, oh, dang, in the third week, I'm going to tear my ACL. It says I'm not going to play for the rest of the season. Man, I was really looking forward to playing this year. How in the hell is this script going to tell you? So it's a movie. You're watching actors. They're just well-trained athletes, but they're athletes that are actors on the field. That's it. So you're just giving entertainment. Work your whole life just to be an entertainer and not even get to win a game for real. Let's move on. Let's go to the book of Matthew. It's only one. Okay, cool. Book of Matthew, chapter 6, and we're going to go down to verse 24, and it reads, if it gives it to me. There we go. Matthew chapter 6, going down to verse 24. And it reads, no man can serve two masters. And just that right there, just reading that part right there. No man can serve two masters. In other words, you can't try and... the name of this class is Stuck Between Two Worlds. You can't be stuck between two worlds. You can't be a professional athlete and then be a righteous servant of the Lord in Israel. It's just not possible because they're going to require you to do things in the world that are against Yahweh, which makes you an antichrist. So you can't be an antichrist and then come into the fold. So that's why it's telling you, no man can serve two masters, for he will hate one and love the other, or else he will hold to one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh and mammon. What's mammon? Money. So guess what? Ultimately, when you're trying to be a professional athlete and you're an aspiring child trying to be a professional athlete, you can't say that, well, I'm an Israelite worshiping God, but I'm going to try and become a professional athlete one day. It doesn't make sense because the professional athlete world is going, like I said, it's going to require you to do things that are against Yahweh's law. So you're just going to become against Christ, which makes you an anti-Christ. So, let me go ahead and jump away from that now. I think we got the gist. Let's let's go back to the book of Judges, because you can't serve two gods, like I told you. And let's go back to the book of Judges real quick. Book of Judges, chapter 2. And we read through verse 13. So now, I'm going to read 13 again. And they forsook Yahweh, the God of their fathers. Well, let me read it again. For they forsook the Lord Yahweh of their fathers, which brought them out of the land of Egypt, and followed other gods. Now, yes, sports are a form of false god worship, like I said in the beginning of the class. Followed the gods of the people that were round about them. That's where those sports came from, those other people, and they worshiped those sports. And bowed themselves unto them. That's why we give an allegiance before every game. And provoked Yahweh to anger. And they forsook Yahweh and served Baal and Ashtaroth. Now here comes the point. Now that you're out serving them, you can't really serve Yahweh. Because I told you, you're going to be compromised. You're going to be having to do things that are against Yahweh's law. Look at LeBron James again. The dude's on the cover of GQ magazine. What is he wearing? A dress. Thou shalt not adorn thyself in that which a woman wears, and a man shall not put on a woman's garment. Or, a woman shall not put on a man's garment, and a man shall not adorn himself in woman's attire. Or, a rough paraphrase. But was he not on the cover of GQ? I think he was wearing a purse and a dress. Come on, guys. So let's get verse 14. Now let's get the point of following him, serving, and being compromised by these false gods. Let's read it. And the anger of Yahweh was hot against Israel, and he delivered them into the hands of the spoilers that spoiled them. So when this kid was out playing, he missed a practice. But he's like stuck in between two worlds. He thinks that he can follow Yahweh and be a professional athlete one day. What are you doing sports for? Are you just trying to have fun as a kid? Or you think that you're going to be a pro one day? You see what I'm saying? Most kids dream of being a professional athlete. So he delivered them into the hand of the spoilers that spoiled them, and he sold them into the hands of their enemies round about them, so that they could not any longer stand before their enemies. The spoiler that spoiled him, they forced him to eat pork, so the spoiler spoiled him. He got caught in a trap trying to be part of the world, thinking that he could jump back and forth. You can't go back and forth from the world to righteousness. It's either worldliness or righteousness. There's no in between. And it's really tough right now for the younger generation, because we're telling you that, but we had it different when we were younger because we didn't know any better. But the Most High woke us up to the truth. So now we have to acknowledge that. Let's keep going. Let's go to 1 John. I better check this right now. 1 John chapter 2. Let me make sure that we're still rolling. My phone's known for just turning off. All right, we're still good. We're still good. First John chapter 2. We're gonna start at verse 15. And it reads, "Love not the world." So sports, all like I was a pro skater, I immediately quit when I realized it was a form of worship, because I had to put my heart and soul into skateboarding, and I had to take away from other parts of my life to make sure that skateboarding, and I was always well practiced and well trained, and always, just everything revolved around that. So what about worship? Well, I didn't have time for worship. I wasn't worshiping back then. I was way too busy. I was too busy with the world. So the world's going to pull you away from Yahweh. That's why it's enmity against Yahweh to be a part of the world. So let's read it again. "Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. For if any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, is not of the Father, but of the world." So you want to be rich and famous and everybody see you? That's not of the Father. That's of the world. That's worldliness. So when you do a great play and everybody's like, "Yeah, all right, see you on Monday. Yeah, you're the greatest." You're doing it for that. You're not doing it for Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You're doing it to be seen by men. So let me read 17 real quick. "And the world passeth away." So all that shit that you guys are doing right now, that shit's going to be gone. "And for the world passeth away, and the lust thereof." If there is no world, there's no lust. "But he that doth the will of Yahweh abideth forever." So, and like I told my kids, there ain't nothing wrong with playing sports, but if you're out there trying to become a professional athlete one day, then your priorities are in the wrong place, because Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai is where you need to be putting most of your concentration at this time. At this day and age, it's different than 20 years ago. We're getting ready for the return of the King right now. So we really just have to put everything on the back burner and get back to the truth. Let's jump around some more. I think I got a precept in the book of James, so let's read it. Let's see if it's good though. James chapter 4. Yep. James chapter 4 and 4. "Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with Yahweh?" I just told you that. It's hatred. You love the world or the things that are in it, you hate Yahweh. So that makes you an antichrist. You are against Christ. "Whosoever therefore will be a friend of the world is the enemy of Yahweh." So really, you just, at this day and age, I would even advise, I would have to say, unless you're well studied in the truth, it'd probably be smarter for you to just stay away from the sports. If your parents ain't teaching you right, and why aren't you? See, that's another thing. When you get to a certain age, your parents don't really have to be there for practice now. They just trust that these other people are going to do what they're supposed to. Well, my kid played sports when he was younger. He's 26 now. But when he was my oldest son is 26. But when he was young, when he did martial arts, I was there. When he played baseball, I was there. When he did soccer, I almost got in a fight with one of the soccer's a crazy sport. They'd be out there wanting to fight people. But I was there for all of that to make sure that nothing happened to my son, because I don't trust other people. And when you start putting your trust in people you don't know, that should be enmity against Yahweh too. But anyway, you plan on getting robbed or something. Plan on being spoiled. But the whole point is that you can't be a part of this world and a part of the kingdom. You have to choose one. And like I said, this kid's out there getting forced by taskmasters and captors and oppressors to eat pepperoni, which is clearly against the scriptures. So trying to be friendship with that means that you're still trying to fit in with those people. You can't fit in with those people. It's never going to happen. Believe me, that's why you don't ever see that's why I have my own bar. I can't even go anywhere because I'm only down to be in a biblical conversation. Almost 99.9. Turn that upside down. That's how many people don't want to hear the truth. So moving on. Let's keep going. Let's go to 1 Timothy. Chapter 6. And we're going to start at verse 9. And it reads, "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition." Isn't that beautiful? I was just talking about LeBron James, and that is the perfect thing. So when, like I said, when you're an athlete, what are you aspiring to be rich? You can't love God and mammon. That's why I'm bringing out the money thing, because the ultimate goal is to have a bunch of money. With the money, see, when you have a bunch of money and you're rich, then you become famous. You have all the women, so it goes to be seen, the pride of life, and the lust of the things therein. All that stuff comes with what? "But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare." So you get trapped up. Look at LeBron James, man. He's on GQ, got his little purse on, got his little dress. And that's not that's like one of every single famous so-called black person. Almost every single one of them has a picture with a dress on. I think the only one I didn't see was, to be wrong, was Denzel. Dave Chappelle said, "I don't wear a dress." I remember him being dressed up like a nun, and I forget which movie. So yeah, he did wear a dress. He lied. Everybody did. So let's keep going. Let's keep going. The verse 10. "For the love of money is the root of all evil." Now, why would it say that? Because it tells you in the very first commandment in the Bible to love Yahweh with all thy mind, all thy heart, and all thy soul. So how can you love money? For the love of money is the root of all evil. Why would it be the root of all evil? Because anybody that will be rich falls into temptation and a snare. You're going to get trapped up being in love with money. So for the love of money is the root of all evil. You'll end up having to eat a pepperoni pizza calling yourself an Israelite and wonder why no one's helping you. Because you're putting yourself and surrounding yourself in wickedness and then expecting a righteous result. So for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they had erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. So what happens when you try to be friends with the world and try to get that money? The ultimate goal is to get rich and famous, so you're piercing yourself through with many sorrows now. Now you're being forced to break Yahweh's law. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. He's showing you what being a professional athlete is going to be like. It's not what you think it is, I'll tell you what. Let's keep going. Let's go to the book of Galatians. Man, this is fun right now, man. I'm having a good time on this class. Chapter 1. And I think we're going down to Galatians 1 and 10. And it reads, "For do I now persuade men or Yahweh? Or do I seek to please men? For if I yet pleased men, I should not be the servant of Christ." Wait a second. So I told you back, what was it in Matthew? I think it was 6 and 24. No. It was Psalms 137 and in Matthew that they required mirth. In Psalms, I think it was Psalms 137. I'm not sure. I think it was Psalms 137. That they required mirth. So they required entertainment, right? So the point is, who do you seek to please? Do you want to be rich and famous and the whole world know you? Or do you want to be a humble servant of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai? Because you can't serve Christ and please men. So I hope you understand that. So in this situation with sports, you children have to really understand, and this class isn't for kids, you parents really have to teach your children. You really have to teach them, is this really what you want to do? Because there's a lot of temptation involved with sports. And it'd be better to just play as a kid and not become a professional athlete, honestly. But how if you want to be rich and famous, then become a professional athlete by all means. But if you want to be righteous in the kingdom, I would advise against it. Not trying to stop you from enjoying life. Go play the sports. Don't be professional. Don't go and sign the deal. Don't put on a dress so you can be on GQ magazine. Don't get a script every year when we think you're playing a game and really you know who's going to win the damn World Series before the season even starts. So I got a couple more verses and I'm going to shut it down. Let's go to the book of Matthew, chapter 7. You're not going to be able to please man and Yahweh. And like I told you, you're going to either go after men to please them, and you're going to hate Yahweh, or you're going to hate men, and you're going to be one of us. Through the foolishness of their teaching, they pleased Yahweh. Yeah, he knows that he can come and save you, and so do we. So do we. But I'd rather be sitting here showing my foolishness. Through my works, I show my faith. So, let's go ahead and get Matthew chapter 7, and we're going to go down to verse 6, and it reads, Give not that which is holy unto dogs, neither cast your pearl before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. But I'm a Hebrew Israelite. Well, they knew that about you. They knew that young athlete was a Hebrew Israelite, and he missed a practice. So now we got to ask ourselves, wait a second. Did he tell them about being an Israelite, or did he just mention it right there at that one time? Because they forced him to eat pepperoni pizza, so they had to know he was a Hebrew Israelite. They had to know he was a Hebrew. So, cast not the pearls before swine. That's not. It's good to be how would you say, diligent in the word. But being diligent also means to be circumspect. You got to be very wise to who you give information to. Because now, let me read it. Give not that which is holy unto dogs, neither cast your pearls before swine, lest they trample them under their feet and turn again and rend you. So they took your doctrine and said, I know about his doctrine. It's illegal for them to eat pork. Make them eat a pizza. And they turned and rend you, and they tore your doctrine apart. You needed your parents there with you, or somebody should have been with you on that. Okay. And let's move on. Let's jump over to Proverbs chapter 9. Proverbs chapter 9. We're going to start at verse 7. Moving on. And it reads, He that reproveth a scorner. So you told him you were an Israelite, so for all we know that you probably gave him some information. And if you feed him and give him drink, by doing so you're going to be serving him with hot coals. You're giving him that basic knowledge and wisdom is going to piss him off, in other words. That's why I tell you, cast not pearls among swine. So he that reproveth a scorner getteth to himself shame, and he that rebuketh a wicked man getteth himself a blot. So reprove not a scorner lest he hate thee, and rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. So these people aren't wise people. That's why I say you got to be very circumspect on who you speak to. And as a child, honestly, it'd be best for you to just keep it to yourself. My kid homeschools, and he was at playgroup, and he was telling the kids at playgroup around Christmas time how we don't celebrate Christmas, and he started going into it, and these kids got mad. In fact, we took our son out of playgroup altogether because now nobody there even likes him. Everybody looks at my wife all crazy, and they look at my kids all crazy because we don't celebrate Christmas. Wow. So what does it say? It says, reprove a scorner. It says, reprove not a scorner lest he hate thee. The whole place hated us. So, and what does it say in the scripture? You will be hated for his name's sake. And if they hated you, they didn't hate you. They hated me first. They hated what you said about me to them. So really, they don't hate us. They hate the message coming out of us. And it's a powerful message. So let me move around. That's it on that. Let's go over to the book of Hebrews. I got a couple more, and then that's it. And I got to hit the streets immediately. It's already 1:30. Book of Hebrews. I'm going to get these out real quick, man. Now I'm kind of in a rush. Hebrews chapter 10. And we're going to go to verse 29. Hebrews chapter 10 and 29. Of how much sore punishment suppose ye that he be brought worthy, who hath trodden under feet the Son of God. You want to? Oh, you guys got to hear this in the NLT. Yeah. Hebrews 10 and 29. Oops. Hebrews 10 and 29 NLT. Oh, watch this. This is beautiful. This is Hebrews 10 and 29 NLT. Just think how much worse the punishment will be for those who have trampled on the sons of God. On the Son of God. Now this kid right here, I mean, he did mention that he was an Israelite, and he did try to stop them before they forced him. Now just think how much worse it's going to be for them that are trampling on this Son of Yahweh. And have treated the blood of the covenant. Ooh, because they knew the law. They knew it. That's why they forced him to eat that pepperoni, which made us holy. Now they tried to take one of the holy children of Israel and make them unholy, as if it were common and unholy, and have insulted and disdained the Holy Spirit, who brings Yahweh's mercy to us. Woo! How much worse will their punishment be? Now you saw he gave him a pepperoni. So let's go to Luke. Chapter 17. And verse 2. So how much worse will it be? How much worse will it be? Well, let's see. Let's see. Let's start at Luke 17, starting from the top. I got to start from the top. Then said he unto the disciples, this is Yahushua speaking, it is impossible but that offenses will come. It's impossible that they're not going to be. There's definitely going to be some offenses. But woe unto him through whom they come. Woe unto the person that's offending the children of Israel, even with a single pepperoni. And you know what? I got one more. I almost want to close out here, but let me get verse 2. Luke 17 and 2. One little pepperoni, motherfucker. Let me show you. It were better for him that a millstone, a great millstone, GMS, that great millstone were hung about his neck and he were cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. So it would have been better. And a great millstone weighs about a ton. So take a pickup truck, pretty much. Take a 1-ton pickup truck, tie that to your neck. That's about the weight of a millstone. They're huge. It takes a large, huge animal to pull that millstone in the circle so you can grind all of the grains into the flour. So it'd be better to take something that weighs the size of a 1-ton pickup truck and tie that around your neck and throw yourself into the sea than to give the children of Israel even so much as one single piece of a slice of a pepperoni. You got that? You're doomed. One last verse. I'm out of here. One last verse. Psalm. Let's go to the book of Psalms. 34. And we're going to read chapter 6. And I'm going to close out with this. Yep. This is for that kid because he did say he was an Israelite. and he was in distress. And when he cried out, all of those coaches got fired. So the end result, he shouldn't have been there in the first place. I don't think he should have, but at the same time, he's just a kid playing sports. I bring out the class just in case you think you're going to try and become a professional athlete one day. I don't think it's a good idea. But this is Psalms 34:6. This poor man cried, and the Lord heard him and saved him out of his troubles. So, number 7, the angel of Yahweh encampeth around about them that fear him, and delivereth them. Now, he got what I would consider a test. The Most High is showing him, oh, you want to be a part of sports? This is what sports is really like. They're going to make you do things that are against the book, against the instruction. Now, I'm going to get you out of this one because he says he's never going to give a man more than he can handle. He always gives him an escape. So with that being said, if you got eyes to see, if you got ears to hear, I hope you got something out of this message. Shalom.